You're fabulous. You take it, sweetie.
Go broke back.
Shave some root for me in the shower.
Oh my God, was it just a dream? Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God, I never want to watch the show again. Oh, man. Oh, I'm going back to sleep. Oh. Going viral on the internet is something I will never understand. YouTube's search algorithm is something that will forever remain an ancient mystery to me. It seems that anytime something goes viral or becomes a meme, it's always due to some sort of unintentional effect that the creators of that thing didn't intend to even happen. This can be said about the show that both went viral and became a meme, The Nutshack.
It's the Nutshack. It's the Nutshack. It's the Nutshack.
The Nutshack was clearly intended to be, you know, a funny, quirky, Filipino animated show that was meant to contend with the likes of Family Guy, The Simpsons, you know, Futurama, American Dad, shows like that, you know? But if you know anything about The Nutshack, you'll know that this show is an absolute catastrophic failure. What boggles my mind, though, is that for most memes or things that go viral, there has to be at least something likable about them, or something slightly catchy about them. But the Nutshack is just...
You're fabulous. You take it, sweetie.
Go broke back.
Shave some root for me in the shower.
Awful! It's just awful! Like, every second that I've spent watching this show causes brain cells to implode in my head. I don't understand how it ever got popular. Please, somebody, explain to me in the comments below how anybody can watch a single episode of this show without wanting to die. Please, please explain it to me. I want to know. Anybody who sits through an episode of this show needs to have a psych evaluation done on them because they're either a robot or one of those creatures from Invasions of the Body Snatchers. There is nothing likable about the show. Nothing! Okay? And I'm gonna prove it right now because god damn it, I've been holding on to these points forever. It's been like 4 years I wanted to get this shit off my chest. So here we go. Let's review this god-awful train wreck spawn of Satan show that is The Nutshack. Being that this is an animated show, I want to first talk about the visuals and the animations. How are they? Well, surprise, surprise, everything in the show looks like an abomination that's a result of a botched Dragon Ball Z fusion.
What did you say? You're going down on my nuts?
Is he supposed to look like that?
Pretty much everything in this show looks incredibly dirty, disgusting, and janky as shit.
Oh, snap! Check that out, man. There goes Ed and Angel.
What's up, Pinoy? Is this the famous long-lost cousin come to live stateside?
The buildings are all curved and like warped in and fell on each other, but not in a good way, like in a German Expressionist movie. It's almost like they took those German Expressionist filmmakers and sent them to Guantanamo Bay to be tortured and lobotomized, and then forced them to make a movie after their awful, awful experience. I get that the show is trying to go for more of like an edgy and crude sense of humor.
What are you doing?
And I guess you would want to reflect that in, you know, the art style of the visuals in the show and the animations. But that doesn't mean you have to make me physically ill by looking at the animations in your fucking show. Whoever approved these animation styles is either a complete fucking moron or has severe brain damage because this is absolutely pathetic, guys. I can do something better in Microsoft Paint. All I have to do is watch this show for 30 seconds before I feel like I'm gonna puke all over my TV screen. That's how I get physically ill when I watch this show. So while the animations in the Nutshack are a complete fucking embarrassment to mankind, maybe the story is at least a little funny. Well, the truth is the story doesn't really matter one bit because everything else on the show is absolute dog shit. This show could have had a story that was more interesting than Lord of the Rings and it still would have sucked. But I mean, it doesn't really matter anyways because the story is garbage in the Nutshack. It's truly terrible. It's so terrible, I can't even really tell you what it is. Like, I don't even know what the central plot of the Nutshack is.
I'm moving to the States with Tito Dick.
Listen, Phil. Just look out for that Jackson. This is your cousin Philip.
Bang.
Consider him your guide and best friend.
He's all right, huh? A little square, but I'll take that. Whatever, man. He's my cuz.
It's just just stuff happens every episode. Like, it's so freaking random. My best guess is that it just surrounds the crazy life of a bunch of like characters in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's my best guess. It's mostly the way that everything is like spliced together that makes certain scenes and story points so hard to follow. There's like these super janky cuts with like these voiceovers.
All you got is that game you play by yourself in Ipanyo. When you think no one is knowing, we know.
See that guy right there? That's Sanji, man. He owns the local liquor store.
That like make you not realize when the hell things are happening or what the hell is going on because they splice the voiceovers in a weird way over the stupid cuts, and you can't comprehend what's going on because it looks so fucking terrible. You either get super disoriented by the editing or you can't understand what any of the characters saying because the voice actors are doing these like awful voices.
Hey, brother. Mabero na biri in the plane, huh? Thought you was one terrorist, man.
That, you know, sounds stupid because they think they're being so funny. Speaking of the voice acting, oh my god, it is the worst I've ever heard. It is the worst I've ever heard in a show.
Oh, hey, man, what's up, Jacker? You can just call me Phil, dude.
Yup. Did you see what I did for Horatio?
Oh my god. Can we get Mr. Roper out of here?
Whoever let these people voice act on a television show should be put on death row because they're honestly a danger to society and my own mental health. It's like they had someone with traumatic brain damage come in and, you know, try and voice act what they thought a Filipino accent sounded like. Yes, the voice acting is that awful. It's really that bad. There's not a single good voice actor in this show. The only one that would maybe be close is maybe the voice actor that voiced Cheetah, because she's the only one that actually sounds like a human being.
Hey, Jack. You excited about going to Lake Tahoe?
You did good today, Jack. I think you're a natural.
I got me a new riding buddy.
The absolute worst of the voice acting has to be in like, you know, the random like background characters. Like there's like a character that shows up for like, you know, 40 seconds, like a background character.
Flim flam, already gone, jicky dicky, spruce caca.
They just kind of like do stupid, silly voices. Half the time you can't even understand what the fuck they're saying anyways. And it just drives me insane. It drives me insane because you can't understand anything, and they sound like fucking morons. Like, what is there to root for in this show? And because the voice acting is so goddamn awful, so are the characters. Like, let's just take all the main characters and break them down one by one and analyze what makes them so unbelievably awful. Phil is technically the main character of the show. I think, like, he's got the most screen time at the beginning, if I remember correctly. So I guess that makes him the protagonist. If anything, that's kind of something that this show suffers from. There is no clear protagonist. But if we're to take anything from that awful theme song, it's the Nutshack. 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 Then I guess Phil is from San Francisco. That's his character. And that's basically all I remember about his character, because here's the thing. One, I refuse to watch this show again in the fear that I'm gonna break out into an absolute murderous rampage upon watching it. Two, I've blocked most of the show from my memory so that any PTSD would not affect me in the future. And 3, I can barely understand what Phil is saying half the time.
Those Remy shots are kind of potent, huh, Jack? That and having a fat chubby the whole time you were talking to Cheetah. Filibuster the renegade Pinoy is in his house! Come here, vibrating my ass, you little monkey.
So I can't fucking tell you anything about his character. From what I can remember, Phil is just your typical immature teenager who like plays video games all the time and does nothing to advance his future. So really, he's just a loser, to be honest. Also, does anybody know how Phil sounds the way he does? Like, I truly have never, ever in my life met anybody with the voice even remotely close to what Phil sounds like.
Hey, are you two fadgers gonna kiss now?
It sounds like he has something caught in his throat, or like he suffers from permanent strep or something. What was the actor who played Phil even trying to go for? Like, he doesn't sound like someone from San Francisco, and he doesn't sound like someone from the Philippines. What he does sound like is someone that has a fucking dick caught in their throat. Next we have Jack. Oh my, I cannot stand Jack, so help me God. While he's probably the most normal out of all the characters, he, without a doubt, has the most annoying voice out of all of them.
I had so much fun, Phil. I never knew that snowboarding could make you feel so good.
Jack sounds like someone who was dropped on their head 3 times as a baby and has an IQ of about 4. The person who voice acted Jack has absolutely no talent whatsoever as a voice actor and should be absolutely ashamed of this awful fucking performance that they put on television. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts. Literally anybody can do a voice impression of Jack. Watch, I'll do it right now. Oh my god, guys, I can't believe I'm doing this.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Anybody can do that. Try it right now. I guarantee you can do that. All you have to do is picture how an absolute imbecile would sound like, and congratulations, you can do a voice impression of Jack. It really is a shame though, because if Jack didn't have the most annoying voice in the show, he probably would be the most likable character. Next, we have Ho-Rat. This was the character that was clearly made to rival the likes of like Bender from Futurama or Stewie Griffin from Family Guy. He's supposed to be the wild card factor in the show that is super unique to everybody else, the rest of the cast of characters, and brings his own style of comedy. Instead, he's the worst character on the show. Not only is he super obnoxious and extremely aggressive to every character except for Jack, you can't understand a word that comes out of his fucking mouth. And I know I've been saying that about every single character, but it really is true for Ho-Rat. It's clear that when they were editing Ho-Rat's vocals, they clearly put some sort of like effect in to make his voice sound more robotic, but what it also does is make his vocals sound so warped and distorted so you can't understand anything he says. You can tell the creators of the show knew this too, because every time Ho-Rat speaks, they put subtitles on the screen so you can actually translate his warbled voice. Ho-Rat is not likable by any extent of the imagination, and what they were trying to do with him failed so bad that it face planted harder than you would if you fell face first off of the top of Mount Everest. Next, we're gonna cover my favorite character, Tito Dick.
Tito Dick, Dick man, baby. Tito Dick, Dick man, baby. Tito Dick, Dick man, baby. Dick, Dick man, baby.
Saying Tito Dick is my favorite character isn't really saying much because, you know, all the characters in the show are awful, but I can at least understand why Tito Dick would become a meme. Like, just look at him. He's the only character that is really iconic at all. With his Dickman belt, his shiny ass bling, and his junk pressing up against his pants, just begging to burst out and go to town. Like, how can you not idolize this guy? He's the Dickman. He's Tito Dick! Cheetah, as mentioned before, is probably the most normal character in the show, at least when it comes to her voice. She's Phil's, I guess, best friend, and the only character trait that's really heavily marketed about her is just the fact that she has big boobs. That's it. She's got big boobs.
Aw, come here, sweetie. Of course you will, Jack.
She's really just the sex symbol of the show, and it's a shame because she is the least annoying character. And she could have had a lot of depth. It's really a shame that so much potential was wasted. if there even was fucking potential for this show in the first place. Last character I want to mention is Cherry Pie, who I think is like a, if I remember correctly, she's a transgender character who owns like a salon, I think a nail salon. And I mean, I don't know what they were trying to do with her character. The showrunners really did not handle her character well at all. She really just becomes like a stereotype or caricature of a transgender person. And it just kind of, it's like offensive almost how badly they used her character. But yeah, that's the massive pile of donkey shit that is the Nutshack. The people behind this show have absolutely no business making content for TV at all. I mean, this show is just an absolute goddamn disgrace to all Filipino people across the world and actual filmmakers putting hours and hours of work into making good content for TV. Like, I could really like break down episodes for you. I could do that. I could go to the pilot and break down scene by scene why this show is awful. But I'd rather just, you know, do it. I refuse to watch those fucking episodes again. It'll be the death of me. Instead, I want to take some time to personally draw attention to the people responsible for making this god-awful failed abortion of a show. I'm sure people have had Vietnam nightmares that were more enjoyable than this piece of shit. And I really hope that the creators of the show are just absolutely ashamed and embarrassed for the god-awful pile of garbage that they put on TV to frickin' burn our retinas with. All of the people that made this show should be blacklisted from the entertainment industry and banished to the Shadow Realm, never allowed to make content again.
Open your mind!
These people, one by one, should be paraded through the streets of San Francisco, have vegetables thrown at them, and have a nun follow them at their back chanting, "Shame! Shame! Shame!" In particular, the voice actor that voiced Jack should be exiled out of the country and forced to live on a deserted island with his own supplies, to sit in the corner and think about the god-awful, pathetic performance he put out on TV. Sit in the corner and think about what you've done. Watching behind-the-scenes clips of the Nutshack, it just makes me even more angry because, you know, it shows that these guys that worked on the show are to some degree proud of the work they put into this, and it's just unacceptable. I guess it's safe to say that the Nutshack is a perfect character study on what happens if you give a bunch of morons the resources and money to make a TV show when they have absolutely no idea how to market to an audience or make something enjoyable or make something of quality whatsoever. If you've made it to this point in the review and you still find the Nutshack funny or still find it, you know, valid as a meme, I want you to check into the hospital and have a brain scan done because I'm seriously concerned about your mental health. This review just had to be made. It had to be made because the Nutshack does not deserve to have a piece in internet history. It does not deserve to have the status of a meme. If I even watch 10 minutes of this show, I start to shake, physically shake, violent with rage, and threaten to punch a hole in my fucking TV monitor. You could find more value in the entire economy of Haiti than you could find entertainment value in the Nutshack. I would rather have unprotected sex with a bubonic plague victim than watch another episode of the Nutshack! I would rather be squeezed out of an elephant's asshole, had my ass lit on fire, and forced to run over a mile of ground that was covered with shards of glass than watch this absolute piece of garbage, spawn of Satan, fucking disgrace, pile of garbage, dump, fucking abomination, butt dragon, pussy! Okay. I'm alright. I'm fine. So please, internet, please, after this video comes out, can we do ourselves a favor? And let's just let this show die. Just let it die. Just let it go. The Nutshack is the worst show ever to be made. There is not a single TV show made in human history that was worse than this one. And it just deserves to be burned to a pile of ashes, swiped clean of the internet, and just erased from existence entirely. I'm now gonna go drink myself into a coma. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.